All right, going to draw some cartoons for a Nelson ratings video that I've already taped, but I'm going to superimpose these images, a couple of which I already have. I talked about details about the Superman film, Venom, and stuff like that, Daredevil, all that kind of thing. But then there was a couple of others I put in there. One that's not superhero related, which is the sequel to Smile. So I got to try to draw this girl and Joker too. So I'm going to have to draw the Harley Quinn, the Lady Gaga version of the character, which I did draw a cartoon of Joaquin Phoenix Joker. So I already got that taken care of. So I'll put him in there. Meanwhile, two more actors have been named to be on the list for potential, actors to perform the Hal Jordan version of Green Lantern. Now, Josh Brolin was supposed to be in he's the favorite, but two others. So Matt McConaughey is one. So just going to go ahead and draw a Green Lantern deal here. Him sort of floating around because they do that. Although probably won't be doing a lot of that in the series because it's supposed to take place on Earth. Because well, it's really cheap to do these on Earth stories where your sci-fi characters. The Green Lantern, they're space cops and all this sort of stuff, and they do a lot of outer space stuff. But he's been on Earth and stuff like that. So anyway, they want an older man to play the role, and that's been in the hopper for quite some time, actually, even before James Gunn got the big job uh, of overseeing a shared universe superhero thing for DC. They tried with the DC EU and too many cooks in the kitchen and stuff like that, uh, and just no real direction. Um, Even with Snyder, I mean, he only had a direction for his, which it ended up being just his Justice League storyline. Um, I mean, they could have built things around it, I suppose, but you got to have something. I mean, when you start out, it doesn't really matter. And I think it's best to do these sort of self-contained films that could be linked later. You can establish the world and some aspects of it, and come at it down the road. You've got templates already when it comes to the comic book superheroes because there's decades of stories. So, and essentially that is what Marvel did. I mean, they didn't have everything mapped out ahead of time. They just said, well, we're just going to say they're connected, and that's what they did. And then eventually they got to their idea. Even when they put Thanos in the little teaser at the end of Avengers, they didn't really know where they were going. Now there was an Infinity War series in the comics, but what they ended up doing was very different. So Matthew McConaughey. Now the thing about, and I talk about this in the video, but a lot of it's rather obvious. So I'm kind of spoiling my own video, but McConaughey, of course, was in True Detective, and right from the get-go, they announced this Lantern series that will be on Max. That they're using the True Detective template for a Green Lantern series. Now, I could have seen like a True Detective template for Batman, and maybe one of the other characters joins him in some mystery of that nature. Uh, but they're going to keep Batman in the movies, I guess. But that's kind of what they would do. Whereas the Green Lanterns, now they are space cops, but it's not going to take place in space. Yeah. So, because again, that's too expensive. So I'm sure what budget they have, there will be some outer space stuff. But there's a problem back at home. But with the idea that this is an older Hal Jordan, so that he is a veteran Green Lantern, and is going to mentor the John Stewart character. So that's how they're going to do that, you know. Will it work? Only time will tell, as it tells everything. Time doesn't give a rat's ass about you. It only cares about itself. And what are you going to do about it? Absolutely nothing. There's nothing you can do. That's the truth. So I guess that'll be the Matthew McConaughey version. So that doesn't look anything like him, but hey, we'll go with it because I get to say so. And then the third runner-up apparently will be Ewan McGregor. Well, wait a minute. Why am? Well, McConaughey having been in True Detective, I guess that would be the approach. But Ewan, he played a mentor figure in the Star Wars films, you know, with Anakin. So, you look to him that he could be a veteran Green Lantern mentoring the rookie John Stewart. And that would be why you go with him. I didn't see the other seasons of True Detective. Didn't hear much good about them. And by all accounts, the first season was the best, and it was good, especially when it theoretically took place right where I live. I guess it was an alternate universe, Louisiana. Yeah, there's really no place like the climactic battle with the killer and everything. Yeah, it didn't go that place doesn't exist there. But that's Hollywood for you. It's kind of like a lot of people liked it, but there was the Cloverfield sequel with John Goodman and with his underground bunker, because he always was nervous about the end of the world and all that stuff. Well, it turns out he was both nuts and was right. The world did end. There was an alien invasion and all that stuff. And much to the woman's shock, says, "Oh, so yeah, he's crazy, no doubt about it, but geez, there really is an alien invasion." Cloverfield is one of those things where it was so obvious, and they played all these little games, and that's a bad robot trope, especially in the case of Cloverfield, where they were acting like there were clues and an overarching connecting story in a series of films that would fulfill the whole story and all this stuff. And all it was just a found footage meets Godzilla. It was the premise of the initial film and all that. But later on, it's obvious they just had a bunch of scripts in the drawer and they dust them off and then figure, hey, how can we make this a Cloverfield film? And so there you go. And then like the third one they did, which is easily the worst, that was just a outer space, I guess, alien wannabe film originally. And then they said, hey, we'll make it fit in with Cloverfield. And then it introduces multiverse stuff. So that's how you can explain why things didn't necessarily fit. No, eventually it was, hey, Cloverfield is a monster that can travel between worlds or some crap. once it bombs, nobody cares. It's funny how that works, you know? Isn't it funny? Is it? Well, not to the investors, of course, but you should have known better. So, boy, if I keep talking about Green Lantern, it makes watching the Nelson ratings video meaningless. Um, they've been chasing Green Lantern for a while now. They did that Ryan Reynolds movie, which I didn't mind Ryan Reynolds in the role, and there were some parts of it I thought was all right. But you can't have that ginormous plot hole in it. What do you mean? Well, uh, basically they go with the Parallax villain, and he's already just killed and slaughtered. I don't know how many Green Lantern, and they're trying to stop him, and he just kills all of them. And then he comes to Earth looking for Hal Jordan because Hal Jordan has Abin Sur's ring. The Parallax just has this particular hatred for Abin Sur, and he wants that damn ring. Yeah, that's great. So fight. The Parallax seems unstoppable. So what does Hal Jordan do? Well, the only thing he can do is, hey, I know, I'll throw Parallax into the sun. And that works. And he's able to do this, and he just barely survives himself. And yay, he saved the world. And okay, fine. Problem is, why didn't the other Green Lanterns figure this out? I mean, I don't know how much you know about the universe and stuff, but one thing it's got plenty of is stars. And that's what the sun is. So there was plenty of opportunity for them, and especially when there was a whole, I guess, space platoon of them to have dragged that idiot into a nearby star. And of course, it's just, wow, a star is very powerful, and the likelihood that this entity could outlast that, unlikely, And but I don't know, they didn't think of it, but Hal Jordan did, and in that version, he was the rookie Green Lantern. He had just gotten the ring and everything, and got a few tips from Sinestro on how to use it and stuff, and but just too big of a plot hole there, which really ruined it. And it didn't do well. Had it done well, then no one would have cared. And it's too bad because Mark Strong playing Sinestro, that was pretty good. I think that would have been an interesting thing to see play out. But obviously, they were just going to go ahead and set up the film and have Sinestro have it been the mentor to young Hal Jordan. Oops, sorry. Oh, never mind. I'll put it over here. And well, didn't work out. Oh boy, that's too bad. That's too bad. It's just, I don't know how many millions did they budget for that. But anyway, that's pretty much what they did. Well, back to the drawing board. At the time, the Green Lantern comics were doing really well, and so they were pushing for that. And I think that the idea then was for Green Lantern to be the first of a series of connected DC films and all that. And they ended up just going with a new Superman film. Not long after a previous Superman iteration, Superman Returns, bombed. And the idea there was, oh boy, we really can't shake the shadow of the Christopher Reeve Superman days, And And you can understand it because there's a lot of truth to that. Um, but they decided, hey, we'll just say that this version of Superman is within that reality, and we'll do a sequel to the second one. We'll just forget that there were two other films because they weren't that great. So that was the idea that Superman Returns takes place 5 years after Superman 2, which obviously didn't work at all. It's not like they did it in a period piece to where this would be, I don't know, late 80s or early 90s. But what have you, that's what they decided to do. All right, so you do that. And once again, Lex Luthor's up to no good. He knows his way to the uh, Fortress of Solitude. He steals the crystals. And they decided, oh, with those, you can create new land masses. And so that's what he intended to do. Suddenly he was going to have all this property. So it's basically a rehash of his original plot from the first movie, where he was going to nuke California and have it fall into the ocean. And then whatever was left, well, he had already bought up, so he would be large and in charge and all that. Well, now he was just going to build a whole new island out of Kryptonian crystal technology, I guess. And uh, well, that was his plot. Well, all right, it's a repeat and all that. But the bigger problem I saw with it is the buildup was that Superman has been out in space looking to see if anybody else, because he had encountered the Kryptonian criminals, Zod and crew from Superman 2. So it told him, like, I wonder if anyone else survived. So he heads off to Krypton in a ship that he manufactured out of the Kryptonian technology in his fortress. Grew a ship out of the crystals, I guess is how that works. And he took off for Krypton. There was a scene depicting him studying Krypton, but they cut it out for time, I guess, which probably would have helped somewhat. But basically, with a few lines of dialogue, he comes back home to the old farm. His Ma finds him, and he says, oh, I tried to find some survivors, but they're all gone. All that sort of stuff. And gee, that's terrible. Um, and so that's that. So he comes back with, hey, where you been, Clark? Oh, I don't know. I took a sabbatical, whatever. And he gets back at his job. And of course, Lois is now is engaged to Perry White's son. And she has a 5-year-old boy, ostensibly fathered by Perry White's son. So, boy, Lois has moved on. And, Clark's like, oh, geez. I wasted time chasing after a dead planet, and I probably lost the woman I love. Well, turns out the kid is not Perry White's son's kid, it's Clark's kid. Because, as you recall from Superman 2, Lois and Clark did the deed. And, of course, after the movie was over, Lois was all teary-eyed and stuff because at the time when Clark banged Lois, he didn't have his powers anymore. He gave them up in order to be with her. That was, the deal. And then, oh boy, it's a good thing Lois dropped the green crystal on the floor so he could use that to restore his powers later. I mean, I don't know. That's how they did it. And then there you go. But then he's got the powers back, and so it's like, oh, geez, I got to be Superman because I learned my lesson. I got to protect the world, and sucks to be you, Lois. And Lois is all teary eyed. Oh, no, I can't stand. I'm coming to work every day knowing you're here and all that. So he turns out Superman in the movies anyway had a new superpower the amnesia kiss. So he kissed the memory out of her, which makes you wonder, how many times could he, do that every time they hook up and yeah. So anyway, that's how that happened. So she doesn't remember having banged him, uh, and then this results in a pregnancy. But in between, then he took off to go see if he could find Krypton. Uh, well, and for some reason, gee, I wonder why she assumes it's Perry White's son. I forget what his name was. Poor guy. He was played by the guy who played Cyclops in the X-Men movies. I don't even know the actor's name. So that was the deal there. The problem is long-winded story here. Is that there's this moment where she's arguing with Superman, and she says, "I waited for you," and I'm like, "No, you didn't. You waited what, 5 minutes?" Because you would have had to have hooked up with Perry White's son pretty quick to be somewhat convincing based on the dates, that this guy could potentially be the father of your child. So no, you didn't wait. So yeah, even though she didn't remember the tryst, she remembered they had a thing and all that, and then he just up and disappears, and that's just stupid, And then it's just the whole thing about this kid grows up believing his father is this other man. But Lois and Clark belong together. And gee, poor bastard, unless they intended to do a movie where the guy turns bad because he loses Lois to Superman. And, well, yeah, no kidding. He's not going to be happy about that. Oh, well, he's the one for you, Lois. I'll take a backseat. No. I suppose they could have done it where he becomes one of the villains, like Metallo or something like that. He's Superman. He stole my woman. And, of course, Superman's like, well, he's got a point. He's an evil cyborg now, smashing stuff. So I got to kick his ass and send him to prison. Sucks to be you, pal. Sucks to be you. Anyway, the movie bombed. It did have this cool scene in it where Superman saves a plane crash, thing. That was kind of cool. He lands it in the baseball field, and all that. But yeah, that's about it. It was pretty forgettable. Other than that, it's too bad about the actor Brandon Routh. He probably would have done all right, but you're the face of that movie, so they just sort of passed on him. Ended up with Henry Cavill, who did audition for Superman Returns. So, of course, he gets Man of Steel, and that didn't work out. So, I mean, I guess it did all right, but then it's like you never really know with these things. It's like, well, it didn't make $1 billion, but it made a lot of money. But they'll tell you what the budget is, but it almost always is probably more than what they admit. I mean, it would have to be if they're that upset. But they stayed with it, but they said, "Oh, you got it." And there's people denied it that no, that it was always the plan for a Superman Batman movie. And I would have thought, well, eventually, but you just started, and I got to hurry up and get him in there. So, and granted, the full director's cut makes more sense than the theatrical cut, but it's still a very flawed film, even though there's parts of it I do like. But that's too bad. It's too bad. And then all the crap happened with the Justice League, and the CGI removal of Cavill's mustache, stuff like that. And it's too bad because I think Cavill had it in him to be a pretty good Superman, but it didn't happen. So now it's this David Cornsweet fellow, who I'm unfamiliar with, but for their sake, hopefully, and that's the thing, the position they're in now, and Warner Brothers Studios is in a lot of trouble. It can't just be a good Superman movie; it has to be, you know, a great Superman film, and that's probably not in the cards. So, and and you can argue about how it's unfair. You're not responsible for previous regimes, and that goes all the way to the top. I mean, Zaslav gets a lot of crap now, but he inherited a boondoggle, and it's very difficult to right a sinking ship, and there's business decisions that you don't have to like, but when they're dealing with hard, cold reality, you have to respect it. If you don't, you're just, you're being a child. I don't want it. Well, reality always wins. You want to be a strong man standing up against the hurricane? Well, you go ahead. But that hurricane's going to laugh in your face as you meet your demise. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So anyway, that's how that works. So this is the Lady Gaga Harleen Quinn, and did like the Joker movie, even though of the gimmick, but it worked, and thought it was interesting and all that, and my first inclination was, don't try to do a sequel, and there was some talk about, hey, maybe we could do this treatment with other DC villains and stuff like that, characters that are beyond the usual superhero stuff. And well, yeah, I imagine you could. I don't know if it was like, hey, pick old movies to be the template, which is why when they announced a Joker sequel, and at the end of the movie, he's locked up in Arkham Asylum. So I thought, oh, well, just base it, rip off One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, but it's Joker. Something like that, but they've come out with this musical. And at first I was like, oh, I don't know, But of course, they got Lady Gaga in there. I've seen her perform. I didn't care for the overall bent, and some of it was a bit too disturbing for my liking on American Horror Story and her. But her herself in the performance, she did all right for what it was. So, and this seems like a character that she could do, albeit in a much different form. And yet, despite recent iterations, certainly in the comics and cartoons and whatnot, it's been a long time since the original Harley Quinn has been seen. Whereas here, it is about that obsessive relationship that happens between the Joker and Harley. So that aspect would be there. It doesn't appear, it's not going to be the same story. I mean, there's no Batman and that sort of thing, but it's she doesn't appear to have been a psychiatrist at Arkham who becomes obsessed with her patient, the Joker. So, but still, it is that very obsessive relationship of two nuts falling in love with their sick, violent fantasies and so on and so forth. So And then the musical aspects, well, it's because Lady Gaga. Well, that, but it's also like, since the surreal nature of the film, that and often given to fantasy and whatnot, a musical setting it could work, surprisingly enough. And so, hopefully, that will be the case for Joker 2. What is it? Joker 2 or Joker Foley D, something like that. I probably got it all wrong. What? I don't know who's keeping score. So, all right, I'll get back to that. To what do you call it? Erase the pencil. So, Taylor Swift greater than. Oh, geez, this thing's getting in my way. I can't read it. Man, I really hate it when it does that. All right. Person turquoise waving person, turquoise waving person, okay. Carla Burton. Hi, Doug. Hi, Matt G. Hi, Carla. Carla, this sounds like Count of Monte Cristo movie. Which one? Carla Burton. Both Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill could have been good Batman and Superman. Yeah, I think so. They just didn't get the movie for it. It's sad, but Ara Manga Anime Studio. Hi, sir. Well, hello there. Thanks for tuning in. All right, we'll set this aside for the moment. But interestingly enough, skipping over from Lady Gaga in a Joker movie, turns out there's another movie where the main character plays a Lady Gaga-like character, a pop star, if you will, in the sequel of Smile. That's right. So, yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to go well for her, because that's what happened in the last one. Smile is creepy and, of course, weird and disturbing horror movie, and I suspect this will be no different. But that's the problem. What's the other story to tell? It looks like perhaps she meets someone who may have a solution to this, rather unorthodox solution for what she has to do to escape it. But for the most part, the bulk of the movie is going to be basically the same story. Says, oh no, I keep seeing these smiling people, and they keep stalking me, and terrible things are happening, and that sort of thing. But it's a horror movie, and it's spoiler for the last one. It doesn't end well for the heroine of that movie either, and odds are won't hear. But then again, one wonders if the desire to set the movie apart so it can be its own thing would be to this girl survives, and well, maybe she will. Probably won't, but that's the deal, You got to tune in to find out. So I say Lady Gaga, there's quite a few scenes where she's in these weird outfits and stuff, kind of typical of Miss Gaga, and that's how that goes. I believe the actress name for the Smile movie is Naomi Scott, I think, something like that. I'm blanking on it, but that's the deal. So hopefully that'll be a fairly good movie. I don't know. You just never know. And that's always the case. You just never know. let's see. Yeah, okay. She's got some kind of butterfly thing. This suit. It's this. It does that. Does that. And this. Um, I don't know what else. I don't really get a pretty good view of this thing. So I'm thinking it's supposed to be a butterfly design. I don't know. Let me see the other image. Yeah, I'm just gonna guess at this. Don't really know. But, the movie is called Smile, but the smile is not something that's all that inviting. No, no. Let's see which. Oh, she's staring in the. Okay. So. Whoops. So of course this is premiering shortly because we're on the cusp of Halloween month when it comes to October. So if you most productions want to get their horror movies out for in time of Halloween. Doesn't always work out that way. It must be like a serious competition for who can get that slot. Oh, wait, that's not going to do it. There we go. What's the saying? Smile and the world laughs with you, or some nonsense like that. Not in this case. I'm afraid not. All right. So, what's the other movie I was talking about? Oh, the Hellboy film. But I already have a Hellboy drawing, so I don't really. I think this is it. I think I'm done when I'm done. Smile number 2 here. Screwing up all over the place. That's one of the things about the pencil drawing. Can get it pretty good, and then it's like, well, it's got to be an ink. It won't show up when I try to scan it and all that stuff to color it and all that, and then just kind of mess it up with the going over an ink, changing it all. It's a damn shame. And I am pressed for time. Yeah. Pretty soon, I shall have to go to bed so that I can rest up for work. Working at the store all night long. Working at the store. Wish I was home. Doo doo. Doo doo. Oh wait, I'm not supposed to sing songs and stuff. Jeez, keep forgetting. I'm now on YouTube with my live streams. Mm. So, and the idea, I mean, it was the original Smile movie was some woman. What did she? She was like she worked in a hospital. Whereas here, well, it's going to jump to a pop star. So I don't know. I mean, if you accept the premise that there's some sort of weird demon that just likes to do this to people, then hey, why not a pop star? Uh, well, a lot of pop stars' lives don't end well. Sometimes, it's all very sad. So I guess the premise does sort of fit on occasion. So, oops, screwed that up too. We'll fix it in post. Oh, really? All right. Oh, yeah, she doesn't wear gloves. It's I don't know. Well, a sleeve is what it is. Yeah, it's not really accurate to whatever the hell outfit she's wearing in the movie, but you know, you get the idea. She wears outfits for her act. Hmm. No, no, no. All right. And well, Green Lantern symbol I'll add in the Photoshop approach to these outfits. And who knows what the outfits will look like? This is not the typical Green Lantern outfit. Um, and considering seeing how they've done the Superman outfit, I am assuming it's not going to be that. A lot of the different, well, all of the articles I think when they on sites talking about the Green Lantern DCU approach, they keep using imagery from the Earth One book, uh, where it seems to have just adapted an astronaut suit or something like that. So I don't know if that's what they're looking for, but it might be something akin to that. Um, but there again, I mean, the Superman suit is still a recognizably Superman suit, despite the differences in it. Um, hopefully, it won't be too unrecognizable, because then what's the point? We'll have to see. As soon as they probably have already decided who's going to play the character. No real mention of who's in the running for Jon Stewart as of yet. But then again, the way things go, that might have already been decided too. But going to have to pretty quick, because they start on that, the end of the year, or maybe early next year? Something like that. All right. Okay. Let's see. Not to connect anything. Yeah. This is supposed to be the Ewan McGregor Green Lantern. Oh, really? Yeah. Um, we gotta put a little wrinkle there, a little bit of shadow right there, a little happy shadow. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do right there. Yeah. Brings me back to my days being an assassin in Vietnam. Yeah. All right, that was some story about Bob Ross. Was it in military intelligence? And did a number on him, and then just to calm his nerves, he just gonna paint trees and mountains, happy trees and mountains. Well, you can't blame him, you know. All right. So, of course, there's always thick makeup, so we can bring out the eyeliner. That's right. Now, if she has this smile in the movie, it means she's lost. And the demon won again. So, I don't know if you're taking bets. The laughing demon, I guess. Just wants to put a smile on your face. All right, there we go. I think that'll have to do it for that. Carla Burton, did you ever read Calvin and Hobbes? Yes, I did. I love those comics so much. Yes. Those were good. Carla Burton again. That's very cool, Douglas. Why, thank you, Carla. I do appreciate it. All right. I'll take a break. Oh, man, that's going to take some doing. Well, the video I have prepared might have to play twice. But maybe if I just photograph it, but that's, I don't know. Yeah, it's probably what I'm going to have to do. We'll see how that works. In the meantime, here's Nelson News, library girl. Yeah, she got into some trouble.
This is a Nelson News Bulletin. Library girl gets booked on drug rap. Hello, I'm Mr. Nelson. Kendra Sutherland, whose solo exploits in an Oregon State University library helped launch her porn career, got arrested on a felony drug charge in Texas. Sutherland, 29, was busted while driving on Interstate 45 in Willis, a city about 50 miles north of Houston. Sutherland was behind the wheel of a 2013 Lexus, pulled over by a Montgomery County Sheriff's Office deputy. According to a redacted incident report. I wonder why it was redacted. Sunderland was nabbed for possession of a controlled substance, which apparently was marijuana. And they have to stipulate apparently because the report has been redacted. That's interesting. But marijuana, that's it. I mean, her mugshot sort of says it all. She's just like, really? Really? Well, you know, the laws are the laws, and you were in Texas. So she was booked into the county jail, from which she was subsequently released. Sunderland, who is listed as being a Las Vegas resident, I guess that explains why she wasn't aware of Texas law, I suppose. Anyway, Sunderland, of course, I don't know what Nevada law is, but then again, maybe so. Anyway, Sunderland shot to fame in 2015 after filming a 31-minute webcam performance inside OSU's Valley Library. The video, which somehow found its way to the internet, showed Sunderland exposing her breasts, vagina, and masturbating, and licking herself. Well, while Sunderland had attended Oregon State, she was not currently registered for classes when she used the library's Wi-Fi connection to broadcast the webcam performance via her laptop. Well, you know, you go to the university to pursue some sort of future career, and that's exactly what she did. So anyway, charged with public indecency, Sunderland copped to the misdemeanor count and was fined $1,000. Over the following years, Sunderland's adult film career has blossomed, and her social media accounts exploded. 800,000 Instagram followers. 800, that's it? I would have thought it'd be more on Instagram. But meanwhile, on X Twitter, she has 1.1 million followers. So, yeah, there you go. Sunderland even has a signature model fleshlight. Well, of course. In a recent Instagram post, Sunderland noted the 9th anniversary of the Library Girl video, saying it was a day that had changed her life forever, and she thanked everyone who participated in getting her this far, and that she loves you all. Well, hopefully this won't stumble too much in her career path. Because everyone loves her lovelies. Yeah. So anyway, yes. Well, you go to the library to learn and stuff. And, well, I guess she did. Just not about Texas drug laws.
This has been a Nelson News Bulletin.
Yeah, still got some stuff to do. So, yeah, here's a song. Good Lord. I had the mic off the entire time. While I was working on it, I couldn't see the chat. So, yeah, let me at least have something here. There. So, let's see the catch up. Calvin and Hobbes. Yeah, I did that one. Carla Burton, GN, it's 12:30 am here. Kevin, how proud her parents must be. You mean library girl. Yes. Well, look what she learned in the library. Kevin, are you muted? Yeah, I was. I thought I clicked it, but I guess not. I apologize. Doug, talk to us. Doug is giving us the silent treatment. LOL. OMG, it's Doug, says A. Thompson. No audio? Yeah, there was. I turned it off during the Nelson news segment and forgot to turn it back on. Doug is mad at us, says Kevin. No, Kevin, no. It's all a misunderstanding, of course. Doug doesn't want us to hear the screams from the woodshed. A. Thompson, I believe it. A. Thompson, does Doug know his mic is muted? I do now. Kevin, Doug is testing us to see how long we will put up with this. A. Thompson, I am famous for my patience. I was on a MKE drunk stream for 2 days. Oh, Mr. Kill Everything, right? Yeah. Kevin, I guess this proves you can get as many people watching if you talk or not. Well, yeah, I was coloring stuff. Boy, all that brilliance I was saying went known only but to God now. A. Thompson, Doug, we cannot hear you. I hope you can hear me now. Kevin, he learned to not to pay attention to chat from Pat. Richard Kish, hey, Doug, keep up the great work. Thank you, Richard. Kevin, unless it's a super chat, LOL. Kevin, LOL, LOL. Well, apologies for screwing up that, but hopefully you enjoyed the little tour of artwork. And these will, I don't know about the Green Lantern ones because that's just kind of a one and done story about those actors possibly being in the running. But that will be the Harley Quinn cartoon for any discussion of the sequel to Joker. And then, of course, Smile number 2. That's right. That will be happening. Yes. Richard Kish, Douglas Nelson is a national treasure. Us. Huh. Well, I appreciate it. I'm assuming this is a compliment. But thanks for showing up and watching. Oh, boy, this doesn't look. There we go. Hopefully, we'll get to do it again soon, but I'll be working the night job for the next couple of days. And we'll be too tired to do it. I suppose I could throw in a few quick ones, maybe. But then, good Lord, look how I messed this up. I'm liable to forget the camera's not even on. It is on, isn't it? Oh, wait, yeah, I can see that it is. Anyway, thanks for watching and listening. A new Nelson ratings video will be up shortly. And followed by tomorrow should be another, I don't know if it'll be night or not, but another, I call them marathons. They run about an hour of the audio plays put together all in one deal. And also, of course, a new Mr. Nelson show featuring a brand new episode of Night on it. And then Mr. Nelson Sunday Comics with another adventure of Dynamo. And then what happens Monday? Oh, I got a video ready to go. Well, not yet. I got to do that too. I got the audio done, but I saw another horror movie, an old one. It was terrible. So that'll be available Monday. After that, well, I don't know. Who knows? Come what may. come with me. All right. Gonna go take care of other business and then go to bed because I sleep in the daytime. I do. Thanks again for watching, and we'll do it again, hopefully someday soon. Wait a minute. Going to need that. Yeah, there we go. All right.